Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Emily Gear. I'm a transformative energy healer and a multidimensional channel. I am here to do your reading for the new moon in Scorpio taking place this Sunday. Maybe a little different depending on where you are in the world, and I didn't look it up before jumping on here. So here on the East Coast of the United States, where I am, it will be happening on Sunday evening. So I just want to direct your attention quickly to the screen where my website is written down. You can go to this site if you would like to schedule a healing session with me or reading session. And also on that website are a few other options that you can order online, and I send you your reading or channeling via email. So it is a little bit lower price point for those for whom that is a concern. So check that out on my website. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the reading. My setup's a little different here since I am now out on the East Coast, not in the Midwest. So I'm not loving it, to be honest. It's not perfect. I might change it, I might not. The lighting is very different here too. And I do want to remind you, for those of you who have been around a while and were with me last time I was in New York, that I have neighbors and they're loud and they fight. So I apologize if that happens while we're recording. Right now, all quiet on the upstairs front. So, okay. I just want to say that I'm already feeling this new moon in addition to the Mercury retrograde. These are all happening in my personal third house of communication. So I can't even tell you, my email's not been working. If you have sent me an email, I probably have replied, but the problem is nobody's receiving my replies. So you can feel free to email me again. That will let me know that you didn't receive my email, and I will need to reply with another email address until that's fixed. And I will also be resending any emails I sent within the last 2 or 3 days. Okay. Also, I've had to deal with in my other job, which is the primary reason why I'm out here on the East Coast right now, a lot of toxic communication, triangulation in some of the ranks. So that makes perfect sense, sort of bubbling out in this Scorpio new moon / retrograde, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, and also in my third house. So it will be different for you depending on which houses are active in your chart. But I know I'm in for a lot of fun. It's already started. Okay, guys. So, also, sorry, I will stop talking after this and get on to the reading. I've not decided if I'm doing an extended yet. If I do an extended, it will be for twin flames, soulmates, relationships, that kind of thing. So check in the info box below. If I do it, the link will be there. If I just do not have time or energy, then I will note that in the info box, okay? This reading is going to be for the collective, for the effects of the new moon in Scorpio that's happening on this Sunday. Okay, a bunch of cards have been flipping this whole time, but I'm going to take these now that I've announced my intention. The first cards coming out here are the Five of Wheels and the Hermit. Five of Wheels and the Hermit. Okay, what I'm first hearing now is like there's an examination for many of us right now, internally, in the places where we have felt like we don't belong in some sense, where we feel like we're not good enough, where we feel like we're left out, locked out in the cold. That's the Five of Pentacles is always the one where traditionally they're locked out in the cold, and these folks are standing out here in the cold snow. And I get the sense with the Hermit card coming up that we're kind of really feeling into that right now and asking ourselves, first of all, how much of this is my responsibility? Probably most of it, right? And in what ways am I not allowing myself to reach my full potential, to blossom to my full selfness, because I'm keeping myself locked out? into the cold in ways that I'm blaming others for. Okay. And that is, I get the feeling that that's kind of buried deep in that shadow space. It's where we've been blaming others, blaming society, playing the victim, but really we're the ones in control of that. We can no longer play the victim. We can no longer play the victim is what I'm hearing over and over again. I think it's one of those cases in which once you've seen, you can't unsee it. Once you know, you can't unknow it. So now that you know either the behavior patterns or the situations or the relationships or whatever that are really blocking you from being your true self, it's like you're like, oh shit, now I have to do something about it. Now I have to make a decision. Now I have to make a decision. I cannot go on like this. Let's get some more information. What other energies are coming in for the collective with this new moon in Scorpio, please? What other energies are coming in for the collective? Okay, we've got the Six of Wheels coming up here. I've seen this card a lot. So I feel like this is probably a continuation, actually, that they're saying. This is a continuation from what probably started with the full moon in Aries. Okay, just going to get a couple more cards. All right, so we've got the Six of Wheels, we've got the Hanged Man, and we've got the King of Wheels. Okay, so what they just shot through me in just a bolt of energy is that, much like what I just said, we're starting to be able to actually see things from a different perspective in a really clear way and see our role in the game, see our empowerment, our responsibility, see that we really do have control of things. Here's the King of Pentacles showing up. And this feels to me like a little mini emperor. I feel like, and this Hanged Man is down here in the water. I feel like this is a deep dive into the ways that we really do have control and power over our lives once we are in acknowledgement of and refuse to further accept the what's the word I'm looking for? Sabotage. The sabotage that we're doing to ourselves by pretending we're a victim of someone else, or pretending somehow you're stuck in a situation, or pretending that nothing will ever change. It's always just like this. Or by constantly catastrophizing situations and not taking action in an appropriate way. So it's going to be different how this is playing out for you. But I feel like it's almost like a greater sense of power when I add the Six of Pentacles in with all these other cards, where we start to realize that personal power. We don't feel as tied up as we have in the past because you're seeing it differently. You're seeing yourself more as a kind of like a conscious co-creator in each one of these situations. And it's not like we haven't talked about that before, but I think, we're talking about the collective. So some of these folks are not listening to my videos, you know what I mean? Like everybody, even if they're not super awake, they're still experiencing these energies in a certain way. And I think that it is waking them up to some level or to some degree, because they're beginning to see how they've played a part in their own captivity, how they played a part in their own victimization, how they played a part in their own tangling up in so many of these like karmic cycles, karmic wheels, destructive cycles. Just keep looking at all these wheels that are showing up, which are pentacles, but they're called wheels in this deck. I'm just hearing the words I can. So I do feel like in some sense there is like I keep saying, there is a greater recognition of our part, our power. Sorry, they are yelling upstairs now, so hopefully you can't hear them. And door slamming. Good times. Okay, what else? What else wants to come out for this new moon in Scorpio? Guys, this is really opening up something completely new for you. You've got the Wheel of Fortune with the 8 of Wands. Okay? Wheel of Fortune with the 8 of Wands. And what I want to say, actually, this 8 of Wands card is very different from most. Normally, it's like a bright card. It looks like it's related to the sun in a lot of cases. Wands flying through the sky. These wands are stuck in the ground and there's a storm overhead with lightning in the far background. And this guy is picking one up and really just bravely running through. I get the sense of running through the front lines. Running like the relay race, running for the finish line. And so I feel like what they're saying is like it's an injection of powerful energy, which is kind of a kick in the pants to move forward. I think that came up in this week's reading for someone, either the twin flame reading or the collective reading. But I feel like it's carrying over here, that something about this kind of, and it is a little bit of a disruptive energy that we're going through right now. I'm really seeing this Hangman as a kind of disruption. Maybe not quite as severe as the Tower, but I'm actually feeling the energy coming in with this new moon as potentially Tower-like. Okay? Lightning-like, like this lightning strike in the background. Sometimes the 8 of Wands does feel like lightning. This is really changing the tides on whatever issues it is that you've been struggling with, where you've been allowing yourself to be kind of caught because you weren't seeing your own power in the situation, or you weren't willing or ready to accept your own power in that situation. Whatever it is for you, whether, for me, it's involved a lot of speaking up about issues that I am just done with. I am not going to continue to entertain individuals who triangulate and create a sort of toxic culture within my organization, for instance. I realize every org has things like that, but when I see it, it's got to be fixed, or we need to release the individuals because I'm not doing it. And so I've been very kind and very patient up to this point, and now I'm done. So you might be having a similar realization about some other area of your life. Be it, for a lot of people, it's going to be relationships, even intimate relationships. And when we were talking about the Scorpio energies, for others, it's like a toxic thought pattern. The other thing that I just have had it with is my own ability to mentally torment myself when I don't think I'm good enough or something like that, when I don't think I'm performing well enough. And I was just like, and for me, this one was a much gentler realization where I wanted, instead of just saying, Emily, you're not doing this anymore, I'm not putting up with it. It was more like, Emily, you deserve love too. Like, you don't need to, if you're caring and loving and accepting and patient with others, why are you not with yourself? And so I needed to sort of change my way of consistently victimizing myself. So it might be very different for you, and those realizations have come to me throughout the last 2 weeks or so. So some of those are part of the last full moon. But whatever's coming in now, I do feel a big shift in direction with this Wheel of Fortune here, along with the Eight of Wands. That could indicate that there will be some very important conversations that happen. The Eight of Wands can be communication. They could be conversations that positively move. They're all going to positively move you forward. I want to put that out there, that all this movement and change is for your highest and best good. Some of you might have large disagreements that break things open and allow you to either resolve them or move forward and move away. But others of you might have really great discussions that allow you to problem solve in a way that you haven't before. And others of you, I'm just hearing, this is just like an internal realization for some of you, but it is like a download of energy that comes in, which is like a full conversation. It's the way that the universe communicates to you through this download. It is creating a big cosmic shift, is what they just said, cosmic shift. So I think we're shifting on a larger scale, but you're also going to be shifting in your private life, okay? Because they're, at the end of the day, they're all one and the same. Everything affects everything else. All right, oops. A whole bunch of cards just fell. I don't know. It's probably too many to take here. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle and see what wants to come out because it was just such a big clump. All right. What other energies should we expect with this new moon in Scorpio? This is a lot of cards too. I'll just lay them out. I do want to say this whole line of cards ends with the King of Wands. So that's kind of where we're going with this, is like recognizing our own power. What we have is the Three of Cups with the Seven of Wheels. Then the Eight of Wheels and the 10 of Cups. Page of Swords with the 10 of Pentacles. The Knight of Swords with the 7 of Cups. And then that final King of Wands. The way I'm reading this out right now, I just feel like you've been on this path for a long time. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever reason it is that you're sitting here watching this video, right? Because you're not just here for your own entertainment, probably. You're probably here because you have a question, you have a desire, you have a hope, you have a something that you're hoping to see come to fruition, to manifest in your life. And so you've been on this journey for a while. You've worked on it. You might have even come to some kind of place of self-love or understanding or stability. And you might even be questioning the validity of it. And you might even see that some things in your life, while you've really developed some great stuff, some things still aren't working. And so, in a sense, with this page, this Knight and the 7 of Cups coming in here, I almost feel like there's a pruning back of the branches a little bit at this time, where things that were either working before and are not working now, or they were sort of buried and are just now kind of rearing their heads, right? That's not usually what that card means, but I'm kind of getting that. you're looking back and you're kind of, because this guy, if you see them all in a row, he's looking back over all of it. And I'm just hearing in my head again, being your own hero, playing your own hero at this time, taking control in a way you haven't before. And I can almost swear to you that those words came out in the Divine Masculine reading part of the Twin Flame reading that I did a few days ago. So I think what they want me to say is, you may be creating endings for certain things in your life right now. And that doesn't mean they were bad. It means they were exactly what they needed to be to get you to here. Okay? They're saying something about judgment, that we heavily judge ourselves when we think we've made a mistake, and that you haven't necessarily made a mistake. That it needed to be what it was in order to get you here right now. But now is the time to make a choice or a decision that helps to move you in a new direction of greater strength, stability, empowerment, attractiveness in the energetic sense, pulling in more energy, abundance of all kinds, whether that be money, love, resources, whatever it is. Becoming more of who you are is the best way I can put that. That is really holds the energy of what I'm trying to get across. Really becoming who you are. And there is a degree of truth in that. And sometimes in truth is a lot of slaying of demons, is a lot of cutting out of the bullshit, is a lot of pruning of the bush to recognize reality from fantasy. And sometimes we don't know the difference between reality and fantasy, and sometimes it's the opposite of what we think, because we can deify the physical world and think that that's the only reality, when on the energetic level there's another reality there that requires our attention. And so it's almost like we're seeing things again from another perspective. We're having to shift our attention from that which is fully in the visible and allowing in the invisible also. I don't even know if these words are making sense. I'm just letting them flow through. Okay, so hopefully they are making sense. I'm feeling a sense that there could be a great degree of discomfort coming in with this particular new moon, because we have both the 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles here. And there's something here that we have really built or really wanted in our lives. Something that we built or really, really wanted and relied on, even loved. That there might be an evaluation of, a reevaluation of. That doesn't mean everything in your life that you love or built, right? I don't think anybody is like losing everything in their life. And in fact, this feels, I think I said this in my last reading, this feels not so much like fate comes in and takes it away from you. This feels like a decision you make. And that's why it's so powerful. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some final closing advice here. What's the bottom line? I'm just going to ask Source, what's the bottom line? We've got the Queen of Cups and we've got Judgment. I was just talking about Judgment. Queen of Cups and Judgment. I think this is a call to authenticity. Again, as if we haven't been talking about this for months. But that's the way these energies work. They introduce it, then there's a little bit of a shift, then there's a reintroduction, then there's a little bit of a shift in another direction, and then we reintroduce the energy again. It's to very slowly and incrementally move you along, okay? Move you along the path that the entire universe is going on. And it's so incremental that even those who are not paying attention can sometimes, on the energetic level, jump on the bandwagon, jump on the train. That's how incremental it is. And I feel like the Queen of Cups very much creates from her authentic, heart-aligned truth. It's not just the cold, hard facts that you might think of with the Queen of Swords, or even like a really steely, universal truth, which is also truth. But to me, this feels like, what do you feel? What do you feel? What is true for you in your heart of hearts? I'm being called to really align with that now. And that's what all this reevaluation energy is, because it's in here. How are you seeing how you have kept yourself from aligning with your truth, right? By keeping yourself out in the cold. And what other things are contributing to that as well? How are you now seeing yourself in another light? You're seeing the power that you have as an individual to make certain choices to change your life. And how are you now empowered to make these choices, changes, to jump on this wheel of fortune, which is here and coming, whether you like it or not? To sometimes make the tough calls, even for things that you have given your life to. Because even if they were the right thing right now for that time, there may be another right thing right now for right now, if that makes sense. And that can be in any area of your life. It depends on where this new moon is hitting in your chart. For me, it's in my third house. So it's going to deal with all kinds of things involving intimate communication in general, probably friendships, learning. All of those things are third house-ish. Although friends, I think, are often 11th house, but for real, they often fall into the third house, for me anyway. Others might not agree with that. But in any case, that's the bottom line here. Being called back to your original, authentic truth. And Queen of Swords. Here's the other card that I feel I was really a little surprised to see this one come up with the feeling that I got for it, because I would have wanted to see this, but this, I think, appropriately demonstrates how much of this is coming from your feeling center, from your emotions, although I feel emotions are slightly different, but it is coming from the place where you feel into whether it is right for you or not, okay? So, what's bothering you? Is it right for you or isn't it? In what ways have you kept yourself trapped in that situation? In what ways can you release yourself? That's the question. And that's what gives you your new start here. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Check in the info box below to see if I decided to do an extended reading. And if I don't, then I look forward to seeing you again soon. I thank you all for your likes and subscribes and your shares. I really, really appreciate your feedback on these videos. So please do continue to do that. And I will see you guys all very soon. Bye.